Hey y'all, welcome to the 14th episode of the Yarn This podcast. I'm Shama, Jessie's Girl 84 on Ravelry and Instagram. You can also find my Yarn This podcast groups on Ravelry and Facebook. If you're watching for the first time, thanks for giving me a chance. And if you're one of my returning yarnies, thanks for coming back. Today is Thursday, July 14th, 2016. This is my second time to start this. And I still couldn't remember the date. That's why I have to write everything down. Today's segments include Puppy Love, my works in progress. Another one, Bites the Dust, the things that I finished. The final countdown, things that I'm about to start. And this time I've got it narrowed down to only 2 things because I'm about to cast those 2 things on. Number 4, You Spin Me Right Round. I've got actual spinning to show you. Number 5, things that make you go, knitting terms that you may or may not already know. 6, We Are Family, about knitting friends, knitting groups, knitting festivals, podcasts, indie dyers, and 1 week, just little miscellaneous things about my life. So, first thing we're going to talk about is Puppy Love, my works in progress. The first thing I have going, and I probably shouldn't even show y'all because I made hardly any progress, is my Unicorn and Rainbow shawl. This is the Unicorn Party by Kathleen Dames. The yarn that I'm knitting it on is Rainbow Connection by Kim Marie, 73 on Ravelry, Kim Marie's Knit Knacks. This is a fingering weight, 75-25, with stellina. Well, I guess not 75-25. You know what? I can't remember what it is, but it's got stellina in it. And I don't know if you can see the sparkle. And you really, really cannot appreciate the awesomeness of this rainbow yarn. It's just not showing up. Anyway, I'm using size 6 4mm needles, and it's just nothing I'm in a big rush for, so I'm really not working on it as much as I should. And I don't know if I said this last time, but I'm going to use the minis that I got from Kim at the Houston Fiber Festival to do my edging when I do finally get to the edge. And what I plan to do is just knit up this whole skein. As much as I can. I'll probably leave enough for a blanket square, but yes, I want to use as much of this as I possibly can. So this is going to be a slow project, and you know, I've been pretty much a monogamous knitter. I might have as much as a couple of things on the needle, or I might toss on something that I need to get done right now, like for my nephews or nieces or something. But I don't usually have very many things on the needles, but all of a sudden I have several things on the needle and I'm feeling a little overwhelmed and yet excited at the same time. I think part of it is doing this podcast. I want to have something new to show all the time, but also I'm watching other people's podcasts and I'm getting ideas. And I've had a little bit of startitis, which for me is a foreign illness. I haven't had a lot of that. I may really, really want to cast something on, but I usually have enough self-control just to wait until I'm finished with what I'm working on. Sorry, I'm looking at my knitting. Finish what I'm working on, and then I'll cast on the next thing. It's kind of my reward. But anyway, I'll show you what all I've got going on. So the next thing is my Happy Knitting Memories blanket, or cozy memories blanket that everybody is knitting. This is the memory blanket by Georgie Nicholson, and I'm using leftover sock yarn. I'm knitting this on size 1.5 2.5mm needles, and I've decided to keep a list. Well, let me show you what I've done so far. Since the last time I podcasted, I've done 4 and like a 1/4 squares. So I had these 5, I believe, done last time. And since then, I've done this one, and I'll tell you what yarn these are, and then I'll show you what I'm doing with that. let's see, this one is knit out of Mustache Yarn Perfect Sock. And this is the Sesame colorway, Sesame Street. And I knit my double gusset heel socks out of this. I did the School of Socks a couple of summers ago, or maybe it was last summer, with Mustache. And this is the yarn I used, and I tried the double gusset decrease heel, and I really, really liked it. But that was before I tried the Fish Lips Kiss heel, and wow. Since then, that's been my go-to heel. So anyway, this one was knit out of Knit Picks Felici in the Spooky colorway, and I only got the cream and the like charcoal in, so I have enough left on the ball to do the purple. I think it's purple and yellow that were the next colors. I'm still going to leave it in. It's kind of plain, but that's okay. That's okay. Everything doesn't have to be super exciting. The next one is this one. This is Regia Sock yarn, K Facet. I had this for quite a while, and actually I knit the socks out of this for a few years ago. This is my yarn for my Hermione's Everyday Socks. I love the yarn. I still wear the socks. I wore them just this week, and so I really do love the colors in this yarn. The next one I knitted is from Gnome Acres, and she had a mini skein club last spring that I joined, and it was about the time that my husband lost his job, so I was only able to take 2 shipments before I had to cancel it. But I got something like 10 or 12 mini skeins out of it. The sad thing is I've lost the names of these yarns. So there are going to be 10 or 12 that I just don't know what they are. But anyway, here's the first one. It kind of looks like a little bit like watermelon. You can see the pink and green in there, and then it's got these little black flecks, Tweety flecks, I guess. Anyway, so that's that square. And then the one I'm working on, which I was going to have finished, because I really would love to have 5 done between every episode, but the last few days have been just a little busy, nothing crazy, but I just haven't quite gotten it done. But this is the one I'm working on now. I'll get out the little ball. It's got some like teals and browns, like a lighter brown and a really dark brown and some cream. And then this like dark teal right here. Oh, I'm sorry, you couldn't even see that, could you? This dark teal, and then like a lighter teal. Where did that go? Like right there? Anyway, it's a beautiful, beautiful little yarn. I have all of my scraps and my minis in a bag, except for the ones I just showed you that I'm going to use on my unicorn party shawl. And my plan was to reach in and grab one out and not worry about it. But then I did start worrying about it. So I'm trying to just let go, but at the same time, I don't want to have the exact same colors next to each other. So far, I guess it's okay. I'm happy with it, and I guess that's really all that matters. I've just kind of moved things around today. I'm keeping my blanket itself in my Suburban Stitcher bag that I got last year at the Houston Fiber Festival, and this is like an affirmation bag. It's really, really cute. I'm not usually a black and white fan, but I really do love this. But then the lining fabric is definitely right up my alley. And then the little handle is that as well. So I really do love this bag, and I've used it a few times, but now it's carrying my Happy Knitting Memories blanket. And I'm keeping the scraps. I moved those over to my Broncos and Texans bag that Kim Marie 73, Kim Marie's Knit Knacks, made for me last fall when I started doing my scoreboard cowl. So all of my scraps, you can see that's quite a bit, are up to here. And then the ones I've already used, I'm keeping in a little Whataburger bag that my son got when he was working at Whataburger. So I'm kind of trying to keep things a little more organized and a little bit, it was in a really slouchy bag. And since I keep all my works in progress by the couch, I don't like it just kind of flopping over. As it is, I'm already going to have a few bags sitting out, too, just for this project. But that's okay. That's okay. So the last thing I have in progress is my next sock for the Coffee with Cece Cal from the Knitting Broomstick podcast group. Knitting Broomstick podcast, sorry. We're knitting through the Coffee with Cece book from January to December. Well, she didn't start the knit along until, I'm thinking like May or June, maybe a little sooner than that, but I didn't know about her until May. But I had already knitted my first pair of vanilla cappuccino socks, and I was in the process of working on peppermint mocha socks. So I found out about the cow. Oh yeah, and I was already prepared to do the, what was it, macchiato. I'm so sorry. This is the Coffee with Cece book, in case you've never seen my podcast before, because yeah, I kind of go on and on about Cece. She's Java Pearl on Ravelry, and she and her daughter, Dammy's Doodles on Ravelry, have the cutest podcast, Geeky Girls Knit. Cece is an amazing sock pattern designer, and she's got some shawls that I love as well. She does Doctor Who. She's done, today she just released a Gilmore Girls pattern. But she loves coffee, and so she had put out this book, this Coffee with Cece book, in March, I believe. I got it around my birthday. Oh yeah, the pair that I was knitting, I decided to knit on when we were in Indiana, was the Macchiato Espresso socks, Espresso Macchiato socks, because I didn't have to think about them as much as I did the Peppermint Mocha socks. So those I showed on the last podcast. Those were my completed socks. And I used, or maybe it was 2 ago, I'm actually wearing them right now. They're the ones that I knit out of my Mustache Droids R2D2 and C3PO yarns. So then, the one I'll cast on today is the Caramel Latte socks. That's page 32. I'm so sorry, y'all, that I'm not more organized today. Caramel Latte, more of a knit and purl type pattern. And I have to admit that I'm only on the toe. I'm about 3 rows from finishing the toe increase. And I've looked at the pattern. I'm a little bit confused. So I'm hoping that the girls at Knit Night can help me tonight. If not, I know I can get in touch with Cece and she'll gladly help me. But I am very excited about these socks. Another thing that excites me about this is, on the last podcast, I talked about having yarn for these socks that I had bought at the Houston Fiber Festival. I bought these yarns from Round Table Yarns, Karen Dawn on Ravelry, and she has the cutest little podcast, T-shirts and shawls. I talked about it last time, and I've watched all of her episodes so far, and I love it. But I have a bad habit of assuming that because it's fingering weight yarn, that it's sock yarn. I didn't look. It's not Karen's fault. I didn't even mention to her what I was going to do with these. But I was looking at them this week, and I looked, and they're 100% superwash merino. Well, yeah. So that's okay. At first I was very discouraged because I thought, now what am I going to do? I thought I had all the yarn to finish up this whole book. And then the yarn I told y'all about last time for the I Love You More Than Pumpkin Spice socks was some older sock yarn that didn't have nylon in it. And I've learned my lesson about that. I will never knit socks that don't have nylon in them again. So anyway, I started having to think about what am I going to do now for these socks. And I pulled out some yarn from Knitting Rose that I've had for a couple of years now, a year and a half, I guess. This is Blossom Sock Yarn, and it's the colorway Ordinary Life. And I thought this was just beautiful greens. And I thought, yeah, this is what I will knit the, what did I just say? What did I just say? Y'all, I'm losing my mind. Caramel latte socks. So then I was watching the Knitting Broomstick, and Julie was talking about the Sherlock knit along that she's got coming up. And I thought, oh, this will be perfect because I have Knit Picks Felici in the Baker Street colorway. Now, if you've been watching me, you know that I really do love bright colors. Right now I'm wearing a gray shirt, but it's okay because it's Hootie and the Blowfish. So, you know, you can't go wrong with gray with that. But I love Sherlock, and so I thought I'll kill 3 birds with 1 stone. This will be for the Coffee with Cece Cal. This will be for the Sherlock knit along, and I think it starts in August, but it can already be a work in progress. And I think these socks are going to take me a little bit of time because of the pattern. There's going to be a pattern on every row, so I'm going to have to keep an eye on it. And the year of socks knit along on the Knitting Broomstick, so I can triple dip this at least. So I'm very excited. I just cast these on this morning. So that is my 3rd work in progress, and that's all I've got going, which doesn't seem like a lot. The Unicorn and Rainbow shawl, like I said, is going to be long term. The Happy Knitting Memories blanket is definitely going to be longer term. So the caramel latte socks, though, those need to get going. Now I get to talk about my FOs. Another one bites the dust. I've been working on these a while, but I finally finished my Peppermint Mocha socks. Yay! These are, again, by CC Almond from the Coffee with CC book. The yarn is Peppermint Mocha by Kimmarie's Knit Knacks. See, it's got brown for the coffee, pink for the peppermint, and cream for the whipped cream on top. I love these socks. The first one, I put it on, and with this slip stitch pattern, I wasn't sure. It's not very flattering on my ankles. But I don't have the thinnest ankles and legs, and it's not like I wear shorts or anything, or even capris. So these get covered up for the most part, and I really like them. Now, in the pattern, she recommends going up a needle size because of the slip stitch pattern, that it might not go around your leg. Well, I decided not to be a rebel. And they fit fine. They're a little bit snug, but not like hard to get up. They're just a little more snug than my usual socks. They run a little bit loose normally, but like not baggy. Just anyway, I'm very happy to have these done. So this is the 3rd pair of Coffee with CC socks that I've done. So I'm halfway through the socks part of the book, and now I've cast on for my 4th pair. The other FO that I have was not something that I even had as a future work in progress in my final countdown last time. My younger son likes for me to knit for him from time to time, and he'll ask for things, and sometimes it's really difficult for me to come up with a pattern because it might just be something that's way out there and a lot of a challenge, especially for me because I'm not really a designer. I'm not a designer. I would like to be, but so far nothing's happened. But this time he asked for this little guy, Nopon, yes, from the Xenoblade Chronicles game, which, y'all, is a beautiful game. So I found this little guy. That's what he looks like in the game. This was originally a crochet pattern by Noeska Smith. I knitted this using scrap yarn on size 5, 3.75 millimeter needles, but I adapted it. And the way I did it was, I went and looked for Easter egg patterns because that's how she knitted the body of her, crocheted the body of hers originally. So I was looking around, and Frankie Brown of the 10-Stitch Blanket fame had a pattern called Eggs and More Eggs. It's cute little Easter eggs with a little knitted Easter egg basket that you can make with it. But I knitted just the egg part, and then I took the crochet pattern, and these are little ear/hands. They're really just hands. You can see the little fingers. And what I did was I just cast on the number of stitches that she crocheted, and then I bound off 3 stitches and knitted back up, and when I knitted back down, I cast them back on and immediately bound them back off. And I did that 3 times, and then for the last one, he wanted a little thumb because the little character has a thumb. So then I cast off 2 and then went back up. So that's how I did the little ears. And the little arms, I just did a 4-stitch I-cord and just attached them. And then the little foot, I did what she did with her crochet pattern, but I just knitted it. And it worked out. However, I couldn't get the little guy to stand up. So what I did was, when I pulled once I finished sewing on the foot, instead of just pulling the yarn up through the body, I went up through the bottom of the foot and then went up through the top of the body, and that way the foot was attached and he stands up better. Now I won't be able to get him to stand up on my hand, but he's pretty cute. But then I procrastinated a few days before I stitched the little details on his arms, harms, and ands. Anyway, so I think he's pretty cute, and my son cut out felt for his eyes, and I embroidered the little mouth on him. And my son is going to cut out a little jacket out of felt because I tell people I'm scissorily challenged. I sew, but yeah, it's not pretty. My scissoring is terrible. So I'm going to let him do that, and then there's a little star that goes here, and I tried embroidering it on, and it was very awkward. Very bulky and just very awkward. So we're going to get some felt and cut the little star out of the felt and glue it on. That will look better. I prefer actually to embroider things on or knit intarsia, but in this case, this is definitely the better thing to do. So those are what I have in Another One Bites the Dust this week. Okay, I was really glad to get those things done and be able to show them to you, because I wasn't sure that I was going to get the socks done, but I decided to get down on it, and it was even having a little shoulder and back pain, and I'm not sure if that's what it was from, or something I'm going to talk about a little later in the podcast, or maybe even spinning, although I'm not spending that much time spinning every day. Okay, I got to get on with this. I've got knitting tonight, and I do not want to talk too long. So for the final countdown, I am finally about to start my Hitafude, or however you say it. I have caked up the yarn, and Annette 79 and I are going to knit this together. However, I haven't told her that I've caked it up yet. I'm kind of thinking about starting without telling her. Only I'm not going to do this very long. And besides, she usually watches my podcast the first day or two that I've put it out. This yarn that we're going to knit it out of is Knit Pick Stroll Fingering. And I chose the Inverness tonal colorway. It's like greens and navies. It's really, really difficult to see in this light. But I caked it all up, and I've got the yarn to do the provisional cast on. I'm just going to use some cotton. And off I'll go. And I really, really hope to get that started tonight, maybe. But first I want to figure out the caramel latte socks. So it might be as late as tomorrow before I cast that on. And then the last thing that I'm going to start is the Heidi hat by Nikki Epstein. From the Knitting a Kiss in Every Stitch book. I've had this book for a few years now, and I knitted the little dog hat and scarf out of it. Is there a dog sweater in here too? Anyway, I didn't have, my niece wasn't here yet when I bought this book. But her new favorite Disney princess is Rapunzel. I've been trying to come up with what I wanted to do for her birthday, and I actually bought a pattern for a lamb because she loves lammies right now. And I'll probably knit the lammy for her a little bit later. But since her favorite is Rapunzel, I'm going to knit this little hat and make the braids very, very, very long. Maybe like 3 feet long. And I might not, these are actually knitted braids. I might, for the sake of time, well, they're I-cords. No, I'll probably do it because I don't mind making I-cord and it goes very fast. And they would have a better chance of staying together if I do it like that. So I think my little princess is going to be excited when she gets her Rapunzel hat for her birthday. I'm hoping so anyway. So that is what is in the final countdown. I can't believe this is all that I've got going on right now. So, where did I put it? I'm sorry, y'all, let me grab this. I'm going to pause. Okay, you spin me right round. Y'all, I'm so excited. I have had my spinning wheel, Amelia Rose, since 2012. I went back and looked. Immediately pulled her out of the box, painted her blue, printed out those awesome TARDIS prints that I have. One of them is the exploding TARDIS, and the other one is like a blueprint of the outside of the TARDIS. And I decoupaged them onto the treadles with Mod Podge. And I tried spinning here, and I tried spinning there. And every year when it came time for the Tour de Fleece, I was definitely going to do it this year. This is it. I'm going to do it. And I would fizzle out after a few days, and like last summer with the wreck and all, I didn't even get started. But I've tried a little bit. And then back in January, I thought, okay, this is the year of spinning. Well, I took my wheel to Knit Night because I feel blessed that the girls in my knitting group are also spinners. And they helped me ply up something I had already spun. Well, I had finished my first thing that I spun up. I don't know. It's been a couple of years ago. It was a tiny little bit. And then I finished up this second back in January, and I even plied it. And I actually started on a third one, and then I never did anything with it. Well, the Tour de Fleece started, and y'all, I have spun every single day for at least 15 minutes, except for one, and there I had a good reason for that. And I finished up this fiber. I started back in January, and the reason I didn't get 15 minutes in that one day is because I didn't really know what to do to ply it. So I took it to Knit Night last Thursday night, and my friends helped me figure out how to ply it. Well, not how to figure out. They already knew. They told me what to do, so I did it. The other two fibers that I had already spun up were still on the bobbins. And I thought, okay, that's it. It's time to get everything off the bobbins, wash it, and whack it, and have it then for whatever. So last night I finally got up the, well, not got up the nerve. I've been a little puny for the last few days, so I just didn't get it washed. But I did last night, and then I whacked it, and then I hung it up to dry. So this right here is kind of pinks and lavenders and some orange. And this was the very first fiber I ever spun a couple of years ago. And like I said, it's been on the bobbins. And it's singles. It's still singles. It will forever be singles. But since it's the first that I ever did, I'm just going to leave it as it is. It's got, you can see it's very kinky. But a lot of it actually pulled out. I mean, from washing and whacking it last night, it's still got a lot of energy. Is that how you put it? But I'm just gonna skein it up, and it will be forever on my shelf as my first completed fiber that I spun. Ooh, that worked out. I have a hard time getting this to work well, but there it is. So the second thing that I spun up that my friends helped me ply back in December was this batch of ugliness. I am not a fan of rust and burnt orange, or orange really. Orange sometimes, But mostly I'm just not. Now if you love those colors, I'm sorry. I'm just not a fan. But anyway, that's why I spun this. This was given to me. I wasn't crazy about it, and I knew that it didn't really matter how it worked up or whatever I did wrong with it. I would still be okay with it. So this has been spun and applied for a while now, and I finally took it off, and you can't really see just how rust colored this is. It's more red than brown than what you can see here. And I washed it and whacked it last night. And who knows, someday I might find a use for this. I don't know how many yards there are. I don't even know like the wraps per inch or anything, but I'll get all that in time. Again, I might not ever do anything with this just because actually the plies are not holding together well. I don't know what I did. But so there's that. And then finally, what I finished my first spinning that I did for the Tour de Fleece and getting it plied up last week. And it's actually, the plies are staying together on this one very well. And here it is. It's kind of like a blue-green. I think it's beautiful. Beautiful. I don't know the weight. I don't know how many yards. I know it's not very many. This is the kind of thing I can see knitting into a hat sometime. Or maybe even into like a cowl or something. But again, I don't know how many yards I've got, and I don't know how many wraps per inch it is. But I'm going to take these to Knit Night tonight and let the girls kind of help me figure all that out. So that's what I've completed with my spinning, kind of. I mean, the others were completed. They just hadn't been washed and skeined. But this is what I'm working on now. This is like navy blue and purple and green and pink. Oh man, you cannot see. This is beautiful. It's dark. It's very dark. This is the first half. It's 2 ounces. And this is the rest of the fiber. I've already started on the second half. You just really can't see. Well, take my word for it. This is beautiful, and I'll get it up on Ravelry when I get it done. Oh yeah, you can really see the like teal green right in there, and the purple right in there. Oh well, I'm sorry. It's very beautiful. The sad thing is, I really don't know what this is. I bought a drop spindle several years ago, not too long after I started knitting, and I tried drop spindling a couple of times. It's not for me. Even though I bought that spindle at Houston, I think that's the end of my drop spindling. So, what was I going to say? Oh, this is the fiber they sent with my drop spindle. And so I don't know anything about it. I probably knew at the time that I got it, but I don't remember what it was. So it doesn't matter. I'm getting some experience, and I'm feeling a little better about it. Every day I'm learning about how to adjust tension and how to keep it a little more even. It's still pretty rough, but I can actually see this getting knit up into something when it's all said and done. But I'm very excited about that. Okay, so what else was I going to tell you? Oh yeah, quickly. There was a lot of leftover from that ugly, burnt, rusty yarn, and I'd actually forgotten about it. This is what I tried to skein up the first time. And as I was pulling it off the bottom, it was breaking and breaking, and I thought, oh my goodness, I can't do this. I'm going to be breaking this stuff. I'm going to have little pieces that I'm trying to knit together that are this long. And then I realized these are the singles that I spun. And so I have this little stack of singles. Believe me, these will never ever have anything done with them. But I'm probably going to keep these anyway just because. But I might even use these to tie off skeins as I skein them up. We'll see. Okay, that's it for spinning. This week, in things that make you go, I'm going to talk about cals. K-A-Ls or C-A-Ls. Those are knit-alongs, and I spoke about one some earlier. A knit-along is when you knit along with a group of other knitters. It can be the exact same pattern. It can be yarn from a certain dyer. It can be a theme, like the Sherlock theme. There's also going to be the Gilmore Girls one. And at the end of the year, in the Knitting Broomstick, we're doing White Christmas. I'm so excited. I need to get all my Christmas knitting done as soon as possible so that I can devote December to White Christmas knitting, because that is my favorite Christmas movie. I love that movie so much. And I have things that I'm thinking about that would be amazing to knit for that. Specifically, some blue and silver yarn. I've got to look for it. I don't know. Kim, would you like to dive that up for me? Anyway, so we'll see how that works out. So those are what CALs are, knit-alongs, knitting along with other knitters. You can do it with one friend, like Annette and I are going to knit along the Hitafude. Some of the other girls in our knitting group have already knit along together and finished that. Tenu and I, SpongeBob Tenu on Ravelry, we're going to do the bow ties or cool shawl together, probably in a couple of months. I haven't told her yet, but I think I'm going to have to wait just a little bit before I can start that. So, for today, the things that make you go, are CALs, knit-alongs, and crochet-alongs. On to We Are Family. I went on and on last time about how much I love the knitting community, friends and people that just are always there for you. And, you know, I feel a kinship with other podcasters, and I told y'all that I was going to watch some new podcasts and try to give you reviews of them. I'm not going to give you any negative reviews. If I don't like a podcast, then I'm going to keep that to myself. But I tried a new one this time called Inside Number 23. This is Katie, Miss Lavelia on Ravelry, MissLavellia, or Miss Lavelli, MissLavelli on Instagram. This girl is totes adorbs. Red hair, red lips, amazing lipstick. I can't pull that off anymore. She has a very 40s look about her. She's very retro, and she loves dressing like that. She has the cutest accent, and she's so excited about everything, and her enthusiasm is completely contagious. I think I'm on episode 6 or 7 I'm binge watching, and she sews. Oh my goodness, that girl can sew. She makes amazing clothes. And so now I'm determined to get back off the weight that I've gained back and lose some more and sew. I may not sew clothes like her because our tastes are different. And if I started dressing like that, it would probably be a little strange, maybe. Just because it's so foreign to the way I normally dress. But, yeah, she's an inspiration. She makes the most amazing sweaters, knits them. She started knitting socks after the first of the year. That girl can put out some socks, let me tell you. She can put out some socks. I think something like 3.5 pair or 2.5 pair in January. I'm amazed. But anyway, so go watch Inside Number 23. That's Katie. You'll fall in love with her just like I have. And in the last couple of times, I talked to you about the Knitting Broomstick. That's Vegan Jilly on Ravelry. Yeah, I may have binge watched all of hers. Total fangirl now. She gets me excited about different projects and different yarns that she's working on. As a matter of fact, I have something very exciting to show y'all in a few minutes, and it's all because of Jilly. But honestly, I wouldn't have known about this if I hadn't been watching her podcast. So thank you so much, Jill, for talking about this yarn that I'll show you in a minute. It's a secret. I want to show y'all, but I'm kind of wanting to hold on to it because I'm so excited about this. Anyway, sorry. Jill is a maniac. That girl knits like crazy. She's got 5 kids, like I said before, and she still finds time to knit. Socks. She has more knit-alongs than anybody I have ever in my life heard of. And she's sucking me right into her knit along world. And that's good though, because it's inspiring me to get out and get out more into the Ravelry community and put myself out there more, and to work harder to achieve some goals that I want to achieve with my knitting, because I love the process of knitting, but I love the finished objects as well. I can't say that I'm more one than the other, because I love both. But the faster I knit, the sooner I can get onto another new project, and the sooner I get to wear what I've knitted or hand it off to somebody that I know is going to love it. Let's see. I've already talked about my knitting group and how helpful they are, and how they are so encouraging with my spinning and helpful with my knitting. And like I said, I'm having a problem with my caramel latte, so understanding the pattern. And I'm sure that by the time I come back home tonight, I will have knitted several rows into the pattern and won't have any more questions about it, because they're very experienced, and what they don't know, what one doesn't know, somebody else knows, and they're more than willing to help. So I've got knitting tonight, and I get to go spend time with my girls, and I'm very excited. Okay. I have a new acquisition. It came in the mail today. Jill was talking about some mini skeins that she had gotten from the Yarn at Home mom, and she had gotten the 80s set. Oh my goodness, I so wish that I had all. I think she's releasing her third set, which I may have to get, but I wish I could get my hands on the other two sets, because in case you haven't figured it out by the title of the segments, I am all about the 80s. All about the 80s. And from my neon and my... Yeah, I think y'all have figured me out by now. And also, I think you know by my Ravelry name, Jessie's Girl, who my favorite singer is, what my favorite song of all time is. And in case you don't know, it's Rick Springfield, and Jessie's Girl is the song. So as Jill was naming off these mini skeins, naming the names of the songs, in a very calm manner, she just offhandedly said, "And Jessie's Girl," and I went, "Jessie's Girl! Oh my gosh, I have to have this yarn." So I went straight away to the Yarn at Home mom, and I couldn't order it that day. I had to wait. And I thought, somebody's going to snatch up this yarn, and she's never going to dye this again. And I mean, I always want new yarn, but I never have this feeling of, I have to have this. Like, I can't quit thinking about this yarn. Boy, howdy, I could not quit thinking about it. Well, I was finally able to order it last Thursday, and it came in today. Are y'all ready to see one of the most beautiful yarns I have ever laid eyes on? You cannot fully appreciate the beauty of this dark green, like a teal sort of, and it gets dark down here, and it gets lighter as it goes up, and then it starts blending with the purples. And look, oh, you can't see just how purpley purple this is. It's so vibrant and beautiful, and it's got speckled dark purple in it, and then it's got a little bit of pink and the lighter green right in here, like right there. This, no, it's not blue, but this is Jessie's Girl, y'all. Jessie's Girl. I so wish I could come up with a way to knit something out of this, probably a shawl, because I have over 900 yards. Over 900 yards, y'all. This cannot go on my feet. I was thinking maybe a hat and arm warmers, but no. This needs to be something that I can wear year-round, that needs to be on constant display. I'm sure this is going to be my favorite shawl. And I have to come up with the perfect pattern. Best yarn ever. Jessie's Girl. Jessie's Girl. Jessie's Girl. Y'all. Okay. Sorry. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. So, this is by the Yarn at Home mom. I'm so sorry. Yarn at Home Mom. She sent me the sweetest little note. I brought it in here. I don't see it though. Yeah, there it is. This is a 75-25 superwash and nylon. 100 grams, 463 yards per skein. Her name is Shannon, and she's from Albany, Oregon. She said, "Thank you so much for your order. These are my favorite colors, and I really enjoyed dyeing these skeins. I hope you get just as much enjoyment from them." I think I'll get more, because this is the best yarn ever, ever, ever. Thank you so much. Okay. And on to my final section, 1 week. Oh my goodness, I better hurry. Since the last time I recorded, my younger son, Kelby, had been having some congestion and was very stuffy, and we had been diffusing some Respire in his room, which is a blend from Spark Naturals Spark Naturals essential oils, which is what I use and sell. And I thought he was kind of getting better, but then he started really getting worse, and his throat started hurting. And so we were really like going after it, like steaming essential oils, and just really putting things right on his skin, and just trying everything. Nothing was working. His throat was getting worse. So I finally took him to the doctor, mainly because he was in so much pain. I probably could have kicked it with some essential oils, but I wasn't getting the right blend for him. And boy, was he sick. His throat hurt so bad. I just was heartbroken. I spent 4 nights on the one couch, and he slept on the other. He's 22, but I really felt like I needed to be right there if he needed something to drink, and he's very independent. He doesn't like for me to have to do things for him, doesn't want me to do things for him, and he was letting me take care of him. Everything hurt his throat. Ice cream, very soft mac and cheese. I got him a vanilla shake from Whataburger, which I always say cures strep. Nothing. But after the first 48 hours, he was much, much, much better, and I'm happy to say that he got completely well. I have felt kind of puny off and on ever since then, but my allergies are kicking my butt this year. They're terrible. My eyes are itchy and watery. My throat's itching. My nose is itching. I keep having little rashes that are just allergies. That's all it is. But right now, they seem to be a little better. I discovered that cedarwood is a really good essential oil for allergies, so I've been sniffing it today, and so we'll see. I'm hoping it's going to kick it for me. Oh yes, last week Logan was finally cleared by the neurologist to drive. I have mixed feelings about it. I mean, I'm so happy for him because he's 25 and he needs his independence back, but I'm worried about him. But we really think now that this is under control. She's found the right mix of medications. He hasn't had a seizure in over 3 months now. And so she's cleared him to drive. And so we went today and got his driver's license renewed. There were no problems. I wasn't sure how that was going to go. I didn't know if there was going to be an issue with it, but there wasn't. So he's yeah. I let him drive home, and I felt amazingly calm with him driving. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about that either. I don't have a choice, and I'm not a controlling mom, and I couldn't be if I wanted to be. He's an independent 25-year-old. But I'm feeling a little better than I did, and I'm just so thankful that things have gotten this far. And yeah, he was quite emotional. Just so relieved, because he really was convinced that he was never going to get to drive again. But here he is. We've had some company. One of our best friends, Mickey, was able to spend a night with us last weekend. Unfortunately, when we got up Saturday morning, he and I were both sick. Very, very puny. I just don't know what's going on with me lately. But he laid on one couch and watched golf, and then we watched some episodes of Parks and Rec. And I laid on the other couch and we dozed. And when he started to leave, I said, "Well, I'm sorry I was so boring." He said, "What are friends for if they can't just be sick together?" And we've been friends since before Logan was born, and Logan's 25. We've been friends over 26 years now, so we've seen each other through the good times and the bad times, the ups and the downs, and so I guess we can be puny together. Anyway, so we were really happy to have Mickey here, even if it was just for one night, and I really wish that we could get him to move here. My mom is getting along really well. She's had some issues with her prosthetic, but it's just something that they have to experiment with, and I think things are getting better every day for her. She got her driver's license. I might have said that last time. She had to take her driving test, but she's got it, and she's not driving as much as she wants to yet, but she's getting there. She's working on it. We had Daddy's birthday, and my dad turned 77. You wouldn't know it. If you saw him, he doesn't look it, and he sure doesn't act it. I'm very fortunate to still have my parents, and I love them dearly, so happy birthday, Daddy. And they were here again this month for Knit Night, so we've had a good week. It's been a really, really good week. And I guess since I am at 50 minutes, which I didn't think I would be, I better shut up. Thanks again to all my yarnies for coming back, and I hope if this was your first time, you come back again. And enjoy your knitting, and until next time, knit on.
Yarn this, yarn this, yarn this, yarn this, yarn this, yarn this, yarn. Time to knit, time to whirl. It's Shamba's knitting world. Time to crochet, double crochet. You will knit with pen and tay. Sunset knit, finishing with. Grab your knitting needle kits, trousers, socks, sweaters, and mitts. Time to get your knitting fix. You will find out, you will nest on everything.